It's been 6 years since the quietest scary movie of the last few decades debuted in cinemas. And though the real horror lied in trying to eat your snacks and popcorn quietly in a silent theater, A Quiet Place received general praise from both critics and audiences alike. The reception was good enough that the movie sprouted two new works, A Quiet Place Part 2, which was the immediate sequel, and A Quiet Place Day 1. Fresh on the screens, by the time this review comes out, the third installment shows us what the apocalypse was like in the beginning, what the world was like on Day 1. And in the beginning, I was a little bit mixed on this idea. It was a natural progression of the story, sure, because if we start from the middle, eventually everyone is going to want to see the beginning. It made sense to go there, but something in me was afraid that we're gonna spoil the magic of the first movies, that we're gonna over-explain the world or the aliens, etc. Well, I was wrong. A Quiet Place Day 1 doesn't really focus on the nitty-gritty. We don't have big apocalypse government meetings or scientists running around trying to solve the issue. Instead, we are shown the human experience of survival. The moment when you don't exactly know what is happening, but one thing is clear. It's either fight for your life or perish. This is the first major win for the movie in my eyes. Not everyone is trying to be the hero, but not everyone is trying to make it out alive by ruthlessly sacrificing others as well. We have a variety of reactions, which I think is both realistic and also great to see on the screen. By avoiding the all people are awful approach, we don't cheapen the act of kindness and heroism that we see in the movie. And compassion, indeed, is the main driver of this film. Sometimes it's not about running headfirst into the monster that's attacking us, but about seeing somebody who has a hard time with their nerves and anxiety and saying, hey, we can do this, nobody's dying right now, things are not perfect, but let's breathe and let's go together. It's not as flashy, but so impactful. And Day 1 is full of moments like this, juxtaposed with moments where characters are taken over by fear and pushed to do the wrong thing. It shows that surviving is not worth it if we're losing our humanity along the way. It of course helps immensely that we bond with our characters really early on, and we want them to come out as unscathed as they can. And this is thanks to the truly wonderful cast. Lupita Nyong'o is such a good choice for this movie. I will probably talk about this for the rest of the year. A character that in other hands could come across as dismissive and one-dimensional and even hostile at times, portrayed by her is wonderfully complicated. She's resigned and she's angry and she's hurt, but she's also funny, and though she's been through a lot, she is so kind. It felt like watching a real human, which obviously it's the goal of acting, but doesn't always happen. She's met with a great match though. I'm not original. You see, Joseph Quinn was on my radar and everyone else's radar since 2 years ago when Stranger Things Season 4 premiered. And though I caught up with some of his older stuff since then, I wasn't exactly sure what we can expect from him in this movie. Glad to report, the hype around him was fully justified. We see him portray vulnerability and charm in a way that makes us instantly endeared. I can't wait to see him in the second Gladiator that will come out next year, I believe. But yeah, the acting was amazing, and towards the end, no spoilers, there's a sequence that had me, personally, in emotional shambles. That's how good it was acted by the two leads. And extra praise here because, well, the whole premise of the series is to be quiet, otherwise you die. So to evoke those emotions without oftentimes saying a word is truly... well done. Well done. Shout out to Alex Wolff for being an icon, and Jimon Hansu, who returns to this world after part 2 and has some really great emotional moments. By the way, he was also in Gladiator 1 and was supposed to be in Gladiator 2, and it's a coincidence that he already worked with Joseph Quinn on this one, so there you go. Fun movie fact for your trivia night. Overall, Overall, I have next to no bad things to say about this movie. Sure, there are some very small inconsistencies with the monsters and how selective their hearing seems to be most of the time, or with how the cat is an absolute unrealistic angel with intelligence that truly rivals that of some actual people. But in a movie that's an hour and 39 minutes long, you don't really notice the simplifications done for plot reasons. The runtime, by the way, is such a great choice. In a sea of movies that are minimum 2 hours long, which I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, it was a nice, sweet 90-minute treat of a screening. Perfect time for a thriller to pull you in and let you go before you get too overwhelmed. Speaking of the thriller element, it's more or less the same of what we have seen in the first two movies, but honestly, I don't mind at all. There's something absolutely terrifying in the world in which the smallest random noise can kill you. And no matter how many times you see a character step on some noisy rocks to then freeze in fear, I don't know, it still gets me. What can I say? And finally, I did mention it briefly earlier, but the cat. We have seen animals before in horrors and thrillers, and I don't care that it's fantastical and frankly not very practical to have a cat with you in the apocalypse, but what an absolute cutie! And his name is Frodo as well. If the movie wasn't already good, this would definitely pull it up at least a couple tiers. But feline assistance wasn't exactly needed. A Quiet Place Day 1 can absolutely stand on its own as both a great addition to the series and a cool movie about how sometimes the only thing to do when the world is ending is get some good pizza and listen to Nina Simone. And for that, it gets 8 cats out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments whether you enjoyed the last installment in the Quiet Place series or whether maybe you have some other thoughts. And don't forget to press that subscribe button. I do movie reviews and reactions to shows and movies on this channel on a regular basis, so don't miss any new posts. And I'll catch you next time. See ya!